Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the J Blast Network back with another retro discussion. I got a guest here today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Finally. Yes, sir. It's your boy Beast MD. I've been waiting to get on a retro discussion, bro.
I've been
begging this fool for years.
I've been asking this dude to get on
He
here.
finally let me.
You just have to make time, man. I ain't gatekeeping this show.
J Blast a busy man.
Man, I ain't that
finally
busy.
Got on his schedule.
Like that. This dude joking. Anyway, let's get into the topic today. So the topic I wanted to go over today was an interesting one. And it's the question of, are mods needed in games? You know, in the modern day of gaming, with PCs being more accessible than ever, it feels like everybody and a lot of people who look at mostly older games and some newer games always talk about the game like a mod install, where you gotta get the PC version, you can get that mod installed. And I'm just sitting here like, do you really need the mod, or is it just extra? And so I wanted to get my boy on here to answer that question with me. So what are your thoughts on that?
Right, and so I'm the dude who I got a Steam Deck. I have a Switch and I have a PS4, and so when the PS5 and stuff was coming out, I had to to figure out what next gen I'm gonna go to. I chose Steam Deck specifically for mods and for fan games and all that stuff, and so I think that topic is pretty interesting, just for the sole fact that I feel like the accessibility of mods and things of that nature with pages like Game Banana has just increased so much in the years, and just like the level of mods, like we're seeing crazier and crazier mods, like whole projects that be changing the entire game. I'm also big in the Smash community, so of course the most infamous mod in Smash and probably in fighting game history, first we had Project M, which was the Super Smash Bros. Brawl mod that turned into Melee, which had its own like whole competitive scene and everything, even to this day. I think Maximilian right now, what's the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite mod he's been making? They literally
it's a mod.
Is
so
it
it's
even a mod?
That's
or is
really
it just
cool.
a whole
So
new
it
game at
basically,
this point?
I think it rebalances some of the game, but it also made the game look way more appealing than it did before, because it looked ugly. It looked real ugly. That was the one thing that turned me off, but also like no X-Men. So I mean, the one thing that people were hoping for is that other community members can come in like they did for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and start adding in characters, because they were going to add in a lot of characters to that game, but after the first season they just stopped. Like Virgil was going to get added. I think Nina from Breath of Fire was going to get added, and of course the main ones missing is like, where's the X-Men, where's the Fantastic Four, where's Doctor Doom, right? So that's a real good one they added.
Yeah.
Because the game was already good, though. That's the one thing. The game was
Yeah.
Was it the gameplay?
Fools didn't like Infinite.
The gameplay for that game it can be really fun, but everything else about the game was kind of trash. Like, they had a trash story mode in the game. I think the netcode was okay. It had online training, one of the first ones to have online training, and that was really cool. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, like you could train online in training mode.
Same room?
And me and my friend played that. And it had like some really cool new characters. Like Black Panther was cold. When they added Sigma, really Mega Man X and Sigma and Zero, they were cold in that game. But the roster itself had many issues. Like, you had Chris on the roster, but you have Nemesis, Resident Evil. That's Jill's enemy, right? But then you had like the new game come out, and people wanted that what's his name? That dude from 7. The Family Man dude. Welcome to the Family, son, whatever his name is. Yeah, that guy from Resident Evil 7. Welcome to the Family, son. People wanted him, and he wanted Leon actually over Chris. Thought it was his time. But I understand that Nemesis was like, Nemesis is probably like the most iconic big monster from the series, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of glad Wesker wasn't in that game, because I hate fighting Wesker in the last game. But at the same time, I mean, it wasn't just that; it was other issues with the roster. But I don't want to ramble on too long about that game. But yeah, it has some issues.
Yes, so I think with mods in general, the idea of like mods being essential is, I think it's almost, when you look at like the console version or the games that don't have any kind of like console support for mods, it's almost seen as like an inferior version to an extent, because of course, you know, like Sonic Frontiers is cool. Oh yeah, it's cool on PS5, but then fools are sitting here modding in Tails, Knuckles, and Amy into the open zone areas, and they sitting there making changes to the level design, and they're adding stages. There's a mod that in Frontiers and all of the like traditional one player like cyberspace stages, somebody made a mod that changed all of them from, you know, in the original Frontiers, they're all either Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, or like that city stage. Somebody made a mod and made every single stage, all 40 of those stages have unique environments. And so things like that, it's almost like if you get the game on PS5 compared to PC, it's like you're missing out on so much content. And so that's where the discussion just gets kind of crazy.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. With the content side, the only thing about it is that it's user generated content compared to the content in the game, and I always see it as like extra work, because that wouldn't be there. Like if fans just didn't care, that stuff wouldn't be there. And I appreciate all the work. Like I really do appreciate all the mods that go into these type of games. But like, you know, it's always like extra than what was in the game, and sometimes it's stuff you wish was in the game, like you said, like all those other playable characters in the other open stages, and not having to go through Green Hill Zone for the 50th time. At the same time, it's like, from the developer's perspective, I also understand, like, if we can improve this in the next game, then we'll just work on the next game, and then y'all can do what y'all want to do with that copy.
Right. So like, would you say that, you know, that has nothing to do with the devs or anybody? Just, what would you say that the PS5 version, if you were to say the best version to play with mods in mind, you would have to say the PC version of Frontiers is the best. It basically has like so many hours of like some actually decent DLC. Like it's basically DLC at that point, whether it's by the devs or not. Some of the stuff is as at the same quality as devs. Some of these people are just really good at what they do.
Yeah, but that'd be for any version of the game at that point. Like any game version would be better on PC because of mods and because of the extra features. But I don't know if that's really fair to the other versions, because it's like the only thing about it is
support.
Yeah, it's like, but it's fan support, and some stuff doesn't get all that fan support all the time. Yeah. It's like it's up to us to really do that, and not up to the developers. Like one example is, you know, All Stars Racing Transform, right? It's the best version because it has exclusive DLC on the PC version that only released on the PC version with Ryo from Shenmue. He's only on the PC version. Yeah, and there's like a bunch of PC exclusive characters. So if you don't get that version, you're missing out on like 6 characters from that game if you don't get that version, right? That's something where I would say, like, yeah, you have to get the PC version. Like I kind of get the PC version as like extra content. I'll get the PC version to mod if I want to, but for most stuff, like I'll probably just get it on consoles to play the base game, because another thing about mods is you gotta really install them, and like again, because it's up to fans.
Oh my god!
Some fans are able to make like these easy launchers to their mods, and all mods. Like some people make
mod manager.
Right, yeah. They make the UI easy for it, and then some stuff is just really hard to do or really annoying to do. Like in Skyrim, you know, it's like a whole complicated set of things you have to do for certain animations. Like I got to miss the bones and things like that for certain magics and stuff. And you know, you're sitting there for like hours installing mods on top of mods on top of mods on top of mods, and it's like, you know, that's a part of it's all free technically, but that's a part of the experience. And it's not something you technically have to pay for. Well, some mods you got to pay for, some people buy a paywall. I don't really agree with that, because like, you're making content for a game that's somebody else already made, right? So you're kind of making money off of them.
Yeah,
But
that has to be illegal too. Like that's the big controversy with Elden Ring right now. Is there's a whole mod, the Garden of Eyes mod. There's like two big Elden Ring expansion projects that have all these extra bosses and movesets and weapons, and one of them the fool is charging money to like playtest or like the little get early access. You know, there's a so it's just like, and that message is horrible. Not horrible, but like I see why people do it, but it's still like you're gonna mess things up for us. Like nobody's trying to be like Nintendo, like where you know they will cry their eyes out if you ever so much as add a decimal point into a game.
Nah, for real, Nintendo don't play around. They be taking you down. I agree, man. Nah, I 100% agree. That stuff is bad. I think that's why Bethesda tried to like, even though that has a lot of problems, Bethesda tried to like monetize it with their like whatever that thing was called, that mod club or whatever, where they could sell you mods, and that had issues. I don't remember it clearly. I gotta ask my homeboy about it, but it was something about some horse armor or something like that. Somebody in the comments can let me know. I just the one time my gaming historian brain is not working. But I just remember Creation Club. That's what it's called, Creation Club.
Dang, I was thinking. I was like, I feel like, you know, you have such like a huge expanse of knowledge when it comes with games in general. I was hoping that I would have an upper hand on you with open world games, but it seems not, because I didn't even know what Creative Club was.
Nah, fam. Nah.
One day I'm gonna get you on something, bro. I gotta get you on something, but
to be fair, the only reason you're not catching me off guard with this stuff is because I have a friend that is really into those games, and he literally mods. Like he would literally, like it's a running joke that he would literally mod these games for days upon days, and then play it for a day, and then delete the game. So and then download another game and then do it again on a different game.
And bro, you know that it's just I didn't say earlier, but you brought up such a great point about the time sink in order to even do these mod things. Because the first game I ever modded, like I used to have a friend when I was younger on the Wii. He used to have a modded. Not only did he just have the what's it called? Not the Game Shark. What's the one for the DS? He used to have one for the DS. He used to have all the games, whatever. I mean, I guess
Action Replay.
He used to have Action Replay, and he also like. He's the first person to show me Blaziken in Smash Bros. Brawl. Like we had, he used to be big in the mods. So the first game I ever modded was Smash for the Wii U. This is in undergrad, bro. You know, I don't know if you remember my setup. You know, we used to do Smash tournaments back at our school. That's how I met you from undergrad. And so, you know, my setup, I used to have the JoJo music at the main menu. I had all the character skins. Like my mods used to be so lit. But I quite literally, I spent dozens of hours. I spent all-nighters so many times. And with that, you had to move the folders around and put them in the right place. And like, I would get greedy and I would add like 10 mods at a time, and I would turn my Wii U on and the mess would crash. So then I had to figure out which out of the 10 stupid mods I put in. Like, I spent so much time doing that mess. And it's like, it's almost like obsessive. Like I didn't really get a chance to enjoy the mods I really had. And the biggest example is Sonic Frontiers. And the whole reason I bought a Steam Deck is because I knew when Frontiers comes out, I knew the modding community was gonna be crazy. So I sacrificed getting the PS5, Xbox One X. I got the Steam Deck, and I think I have 170 hours in Frontiers. And I guarantee you, at least like 50 of them hours had nothing to do with me actually playing the game. Like, it's really me testing mods and, you know, having the mod manager up and doing all that stuff. Like, I spent so much time modding it, and then the crashes. Like right now, my Sonic Frontiers, it won't even open on my Steam Deck right now. I don't know what I did to I don't know what I did to it, but I had to delete all my mods once again. Yeah, it's still not opening. I don't know what I did. And so the mods, the mod brain rot is a thing for real.
Nah, bro, I understand that completely, because I kind of had the same thing with my Steam Deck, except I wasn't getting it for the mods, because I kind of don't want to mod on it because it seemed like a pain in the ass to do it with the Steam Deck because of the UI and everything, and open up different software.
Oh,
But
I'm sorry. Let me just say one thing. I didn't even really even get. I didn't even get to half of it, bro, because in regards to the Steam Deck, it's Linux, and so Hedgemon Manager for Frontiers in general, I've had to. I'm like not a technical person. I'm a science person. I'm not a computer person or anything.
I'm a technical person.
Right. So you can yes. So just imagine me, my caveman self, scouring GitHubs, like and like putting stuff into the I have to do all this Linux stuff, the Steam Tinker launch, all this mess, bro. Like complete caveman stuff. I don't even know what I'm doing, and it's so
annoying.
just horrible, bro. It's annoying. It's so annoying. Like, but yeah, I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah, I got my Steam Deck mostly for emulation, mostly to play like PS2 and GameCube on the go, and Xbox on the go. And I said like everything. I spent like 3 days downloading all the libraries that I wanted or the games that I wanted to put on the deck. So I put it all there on the deck with this transfer device, and that took like a long time to do. And I said I'm never touching it again. And it took up a lot of space. I'm putting at least on the PS1 stuff because I don't really need it on there. But even that, like going in that, is just annoying. And look. I got a degree in computer science, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, I do not like messing with this crap. I don't think nobody likes messing with this crap at all. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Right. It's my job. It is in my job to go mess with computers, and I hate doing this. I hate the more complicated stuff because it just becomes, at a certain point, it becomes a mess. We have so many windows open when you're messing with so many files, and especially with the compatibility, like you said, like a lot of people make their mods for Windows because everybody uses Windows, right? Some people make stuff for Mac, right? Some people tell you get Linux. There's a Pacific YouTuber, shout out to some ordinary gamers. They tell you to get Linux.
Oh yeah, that bastard. His fool loves Linux. That bastard.
They love, I understand the reasoning why they love Linux, but it's like if you want to get Linux, like, you're gonna have to go through the hoops to go and get it, and then get games running, and then you're the VM. And it's like, no, bro. Most people don't want to do all that. So the easier you make, installing the mods, the better it is, right? Because even as a computer scientist, I don't even like doing all that crap. I hate doing all that crap. The setup is the most annoying part.
Yeah, though I will say, I think it's a little interesting. And then I have one. I don't know if it's going to be our last point to discuss, but I have a very good point to bring up that I think would be a great way to close the conversation. So I'm bad at math, obviously. I'm not computer science. I can never.
I am too.
Math. But I really love getting math problems right. Like when I'd be in calculus or statistics, that's one thing I will say. I never felt any kind of satisfaction in school, like doing a really hard thing like that, and then like doing something I would never think I'd be able to in doing it. Like the same way with mods, even though like the reason I spent so much time doing this stuff because I really do, when it finally works, I feel so happy. Like I really do feel a big sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
But it's so like I spent more time doing that mess than playing. Like I know it's so bad, I should stay away from it, but I love that feeling. But I think
you just get exhausted because you put all that work into it. I get the same feeling, like you are proud of yourself for doing it, but it's you just get exhausted, man. Like that's the one thing. Like especially when I'm an engineer, bro, and I hate math. I do hate math a lot. All right, as a programmer, part of that is math. It's not as bad as like other engineers with the math, but it still is math. Anytime there's a long problem, or I'm dealing with like a project with code that's like that has different files and has all these lines, like 300 lines or something, like the longer it gets, the more I have to consume it once, look at it once, and it messes with my head, right? You probably think I know a lot. We gotta understand, like that's a lot that I know is like being stored and cycled, and then like in like this temporary memory that comes out. I don't know how to describe it. It's gonna sound weird to everybody watching or listening to this, but it's selective. It's being selective, right? So when you have to do that all at once, right? When I'm talking about like a long math problem, long algebraic equation or something like that, right? the problem that comes into play is like during that process, like I get kind of lost easily during that process because I would end up just messing up something along the way, and it caused everything to mess up. And I had that happen when I tried to mod my Wii and my Wii U the first time. Like I'm still trying to mod my base Wii, and something messed up, and I had to go back through the steps and stuff, and you know, I spent like a day on it. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it later, and I still haven't done it yet. But it's, you know, when it's annoying, I tell you, man, it gets really annoying to do that.
And what part of the reason why that's difficult is because, you know, one thing my professor used to say when I was at PV is he used to say, conceptualize, don't memorize. But the thing is, I feel like when it comes to, you know, with science, that's the thing. Like, obviously, like, just trying to do raw memorization, like, it's gonna make it horrible. But the idea of, like, there's so many rules when it comes with computer science and modding and programming that, like, it's impossible to really, like, truly just conceptualize. Like, there's so much you have to conceptualize that, like, it makes it, like, you know, you can barely stay afloat just trying to put all the pieces together, I assume, from what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, that's the real thing. Like, I feel like if you had this stuff conceptualized, that's when it'd be like, oh, it's like speaking a language, I presume. I mean, that's what in the movie they say, right? You know, all these coders, that's the language, so they talk to the computer, right?
Yeah, it is like,
you know, the movie hackers.
Language.
But
I mean, they simplify it hard, and they just, you know, it's usually just them just like randomly typing on the computer.
Yeah,
random
cracking their fingers. Oh, this guy's good.
Yeah. That I'm telling you right now, that is not what happens. What is happening is you type a line out, you're thinking, you're messing around with it, okay, and then you realize and you see in the warning signs, you go look at what's happening in the result, then you're mad that like something, it's like doing a result, but it's not the result that you want, and so you got to go back and see when it tells you where it's at, but you're wondering what
trial error,
what parameter is wrong, what this is wrong. And that's kind of why I appreciate modders, though, because right, the one thing I hate as a programmer is having to go back and look at somebody else's code, especially for this older stuff.
Oh,
I hate
snap.
having to look at somebody else's code. That's the worst thing you can do, is having to go back and rework somebody else's code. You might as well just make up your own code at that point, right? Sometimes it's easy, depending on what it is. Sometimes it's a complicated mess. It's just annoying. You don't know what people were thinking when making stuff. And again, like back then, even now, people are kind of like winging it in code. Like there is no like set formula.
Especially with the older games, like I be thinking, I'm like, I feel like they were doing a lot of stuff, like they were making it up, or like they were setting the standard for stuff like that. Like, you know, I feel like it'd be so messy. Yeah.
They use their general knowledge, and also they use older programming languages, like assembly and stuff. So it's a lot. What we have now is a lot more simplified and much more welcoming than the stuff that we had before. I mean, we even have like blueprints in Unreal that can show you or like make certain things for like a run animation or a walk animation or something like that, or walking or gun shooting. Like those are blueprints, right? You used to have to like, you know, hard code that into there. Now we have that. They didn't have that back then. And even then, if you ever seen like Sakurai's game development videos back in the old days, they were coding, and I had to do this before in Python. They were coding the graphics. Like you had to code the graphics. You know what I'm saying? Let me say it again. You had to code the graphics. It
sounds like a big deal.
Yes, it is. You had to code the colors. You had to code in the graphics to the game. You couldn't just no one drawing. I mean, you drew what you wanted the sprite to look like, and you had to like, you know, map it to that. But you had to code in that stuff. You couldn't just draw it out now like how it is today, or have it, you know, have an environment like now it is today. It's not the same as it was back then. So you have to go rework that. I mean, you know, that's commendable. Now it could be easier than I'm making it out to be, because I've never really deep dived into all that. Someone's gonna probably say that in the comments. I appreciate you telling me. You call me an idiot. You know, no, real talk. You know, just tell me
you're an idiot. I don't know what I am, bro. I'm all
But
three stooges combined. If you're an idiot,
I'm just saying, man, it's it's a lot of work. I'm just saying it's commendable, bro. Like Duck Pro is one of my favorite mods ever. And one thing about mods too is they help bring back old content that was cut from the game, like the Windy Valley mod and Sonic Adventure, and Duck Pro, which brought back like amazing. The downhill demo in that game, and it allowed people to play the old Tony Hawk games online. Or I think it's called Dog. It's a new one. It's like the American Wasteland engine, but they're putting all the levels in there. So it's helping bring back those old games back to life with online and
like
all of the characters and improving it. Yeah, and to me, those are the mods I really. Yeah,
and the Sonic DX, Sonic Adventure DX, and all the fixes, the original lighting, all the bug fixes, all of that.
Yeah, and those are the mods I really like the most because those are like fixing more of a problem. Or problem. Well, I guess in Thug Pro's case, that's like making something completely new for fans, by fans that was, we didn't have, we still don't really have today, honestly. And I can only, commend that type of stuff. In Sonic Adventure's case, it's more so for the levels than anything, because I said in that video, I don't really need the mods to just play the game, because the things that people call glitches, honestly, in that game. Like the same shit will be happening. Like for instance, that building. There's sometimes where I can run up the building the same way. Sometimes I fall off. There's sometimes where rarely Sonic will not run all the way with that well, and I'll fall in the water. Even on the Dreamcast version, that happens. I don't know what's going on with that, but I do appreciate the modding community. I'm just kind of questioning, like, asking, like, to play a game that's like fine. There's a game that's like if you played Skyrim,
here's where I think I wanted to tie everything in, bro. Is like this kind of, we talked about this because of the Unleashed recompiled, right? We were talking about this last week. How I've yet to play Sonic Unleashed, so I'm about to finally play it for the first time. But what's the whole thing? A lot of things people complain about with Unleashed. Like there's two things, right? There's the Werehog music. That every time you go into combat, it does the dun, 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 and the same song over and over, the same combat music. And so what they do, they have the option. The Unleashed recompiled is amazing, and like the idea that the game's gonna be running like uncapped frame rate, 1080p, whatever you want to say, like it's gonna be running like it's never been able to run before. But they also have changes, like you can turn off the Werehog music, which was like a big thing. Or like the Sun and Moon, there's mods to reduce the amount of Sun and Moon medals needed to get to the next thing. So it's like, do mods like take away the integrity of the game? Or like is the addition of mods, like I know there's some people who they probably, like when I played Sonic Frontiers, I made sure to do an entire vanilla playthrough. Like for example, in my Sonic Frontiers playthrough, I made sure that I wanted to play the game for what it was. And so I did not play it until I did not use mods until I beat the whole game in vanilla. And then I used mods. But some people, their first playthrough is a modded playthrough. Some people aren't even, like the game's integrity is gone, or the artistic vision for good, for better, or for worse of the game development isn't there. So are mods bad in that case?
Yeah, that's kind of my main point that I wanted to end the video off on, because that's kind of what I brought up with Skyrim. Like with those type of games, right? And even on Alicia's case, like I think sometimes, to me, I would play it vanilla and experience those problems, because you can only really mod those problems out if you know what the problems are in the first place. Hell, I remember a time where people would tell you just go play Generations and play the Unleashed project in Generations if you wanted to play Unleashed at all. Like, don't even play the Werehog.
Right.
We fixed the game because we put those levels in Generations, right? And to that, I would say you're not even playing the game at that point, because you're playing Generations with the stage mods at that point, right? But people would say that would be a solution.
Yeah, I never played the Unleashed mod because I never agreed with that. Even I had Generations before Unleashed, and I had the opportunity. And actually, now that I think about it, I didn't even have an original Generations playthrough. I think my first playthrough of Gens, I did have mods, actually. So I didn't even have the true Generations experience. And part of me feels like, I mean, I like Generations, but like I don't really care for it that much. Part of me thinks because I was messing around with the mods. Like I think it just felt less special. Like I didn't feel like I was playing like a game. Like I feel like I was playing a game. I wasn't like experiencing something. Like I was sitting there messing with the costume mods and whatever, and like I was paying attention to other things besides like the true game that was there. I don't know.
Yeah, and to me that's kind of where I'm like, I don't think you need that to play the game, because the game that I liked, or the game that I liked with Sonic Unleashed, where it's like a top 5 Sonic game to me, is that original game. It's not with mods, not with anything. Same with Sonic Adventure, same with everything else in that category. I didn't need mods to put it there, right? Even with games like Fallout New Vegas or Skyrim, like when I put those in my top games, I don't need the mods to put those games up there, right? But when you kind of see, like, when I see like these look backs and these retrospectives, sometimes I see people like they'll use mods. Sometimes people use mods to kind of get footage and kind of set their videos. And that's pretty cool when they do that. Like they'll set up different angles and stuff. Even with like Grand Theft Auto, I don't really need the mods to come in and like fix that experience to make it enjoyable for me to like the game. To me, I feel like if you needed that to fix the game for you, you never liked the game in the first place, in my opinion. And it just wasn't something for you. It's okay if you play it like that. I'm not really here to judge how you play a game or not. We're not here to say that. But it's just a matter of fact. I just don't think you need that stuff to play the game. Like if a game's trash, right, then it's just trash. Like if a mod fixes that game, that's great, that's cool. But to me, it's still trash because fans had to come and fix that. That's even more of a flaw because fans had to fix what the developers couldn't fix. Well, I mean, it's easier to fix some. I mean, to be fair, it's easier to fix something that is already made than it is to make something. That's another thing. I'll give them. But at the same time, it's like fans have to come and fix that. That's not really like making the game good,
Yeah, and just the idea of also, let's say, I think I can also warp your perception. Even if you did play the game of vanilla, it can warp your perception of the game. Like for example, I've played so much. Thankfully, I played so much SA2 vanilla that like the mods, I played with a lot of SA2 mods, and I still can confidently say like I love SA2 is my favorite game of all time. I will love Sonic Adventure 2 whether it's vanilla or modded. But like Frontiers, I enjoyed my first playthrough of Frontiers, and I was telling J Blast the other day, after playing with mods, it's so like I don't know if I could play vanilla Frontiers again. And it's like I just messed up my experience by playing with mods. And like, is that bad or is that good or bad? It's just like if they added DLC, they added the DLC, and or let's say if they updated the game or they patched the game, could I go back to the vanilla patch? Is that a bad thing if I can't go back to the vanilla patch? So it's interesting.
I mean, it's just your perspective, man. Like, I couldn't go back to vanilla Generations for a while. And now I really can't because they got that new Shadow Generations, but I couldn't go back to that because I just wanted more levels. That was my main. I wanted more levels in the game, and what the mods do, it gave me more levels. So I went on PC, played more with people's levels. Some of them were crashing, some of them were running well, but that was my main issue with the game, and it was solved that way. So I can see why people would play. That's why I'm not judging how you play your game. But at the same time, it's like I guess if you respect the original game or you like the original game, it doesn't. I think it's fine. It doesn't really matter, right? You do what you're gonna do. But to me personally, like if a game is trash and you say, well, this game is trash, right? And I'm getting mods to fix it, and now I can play it. Like another game I don't really care for much is Fallout 4, right? I don't need mods to come and fix Fallout 4. I'm just not gonna play Fallout 4. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I'm not gonna play that game, right? I have issues with it.
Unless I paid money.
It's not that bad.
If I paid money for it, and that's the only way I can enjoy it, then that's to me that's a little different. Like if that's like I'm trying to get my money's worth at that point. But yeah.
I get you.
And it's such a wonderful thing that we're even having this discussion about like people adding in extra content. Like these fools will literally come home from work and will literally spend all this time like just out of the love of the game for us to be playing and to enjoy. Like,
and then some people take it down. Some companies just take it down.
Yeah, like passion. Like these fools can't even make money for it. And then of course there's the channels, like the Sonic modding channels, who they don't even be making mods. They just play other people's mods and they be getting their builds paid for. That's a whole nother discussion. That mess pisses me off a lot. I really hate that. But you know, or even like Rivals of Ether with the Steam Workshop. The workshop has so many. There's like hundreds of freaking characters, hundreds of stages and music, and so many. Like and Rivals of Ether, you know, supports that fully, and they, you know, they paid players who've made really good characters, and they bought them to put them in the game. And so there's, you know, I love modding, but yeah, I feel like you have to mod responsibly. We got to do a PSA commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very powerful tool.
Well, I think for that we will wrap it up. I think we covered everything. Thanks for coming on the channel, Beast. I look forward to doing more discussions with you.
Yeah,
you got anything else to say?
Me. I'm just happy to be on the J Blast Network.
Anytime, man. Hey, I ain't gatekeeping you out the channel. I'm just letting you.
No, I know. Man. No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I know, you know, you're the man, so, you know, I'm just trying to, whatever you say is best. I'm just trying to be on the network.
Oh, yeah. With that being said, guys, this is the J Blast Network signing out. And don't forget.
You better believe, baby. Wait, can I say that?
Yeah, you say it.
Let's go. You better believe, baby. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
We're close. You gotta believe, baby. Yeah.
It's gotta. Dang. Oh my gosh. Man, that was the best moment of my life.
It's all good.